I was up watching the election, and I've been up since. I've been up way beyond 24 hours, and it's currently 2:41 a.m. And I've got to tell you, I've been an absolute idiot. Not just wrong, but fundamentally, embarrassingly, catastrophically wrong about the US election, and in fact, Trump altogether.
Ready? You have the cameras rolling?
And the worst part is that just after 24 hours of intense, depressive reflection, I can now see exactly why Trump won. And I am kicking myself for not seeing it sooner, because if I had seen it sooner, I would have known how to better fight the misinformation. But do you know what really gets me? I've actually been on the Trump side of the coin. In 2016, I voted for Brexit. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying that Brexit and Trump are the same thing. They are not. But the justifications for each do have some similarities. And no, I wouldn't vote for Brexit today. But I remember exactly why I did back then. And sitting here, watching the Democrat response to Trump's victory, I'm having the most uncomfortable sense of deja vu. Or I'm delirious because I've been up for too long. See, here's how the typical Democrat, and if you don't mind, I'm going to include myself among them/you, at least politically, as much as Russell Brand is a Republican, see the whole situation. Trump is a proven liar, a man with multiple criminal indictments, someone who's openly attacked democratic institutions. He's been found liable of sexual abuse. He tried to overturn an election. He tried to overturn it. He still doesn't admit that he lost. He's been indicted for mishandling classified documents. He literally took classified nuclear secrets to his golf club. He paid hush money to a porn star. He praised dictators while insulting supposed allies. His businesses have gone bankrupt multiple times. He's been found guilty of fraud. He stored classified documents next to his toilet. His toilet. The list goes on and on. We look at his supporters and think, how could you possibly vote for this man? What's wrong with you? So we sit there armed with all these facts, all these court documents, all these verified stories, and we think that we finally got an airtight case. We share these stories on social media. We nod along with late night comedians making Trump jokes. We listen to scholars and experts warning about the death of democracy. We treat each new revelation, each new indictment, each new scandal as the thing that will finally make people see sense. And when none of this works, when people keep supporting him anyway, we throw up our hands and conclude that his supporters must be crazy, stupid, deplorable, or just plain evil. And one of the most popular memes going around at the moment, and has been going around the whole time, is maybe they just don't want a female president. That might be true of some of them, but it ain't for all of them. Only a small percentage of Trump's voters are garbage. But yes, there are some. We sit in our comfortable bubble, confident that surely this time people will see reason. But here's what's actually happening on the ground. Millions of Americans are sitting at their kitchen table, looking at their skyrocketing grocery bills, their mounting credit card debt, and they're thinking, I was better off 4 years ago. They're watching their communities change, their jobs disappear, their kids struggle to afford rent in neighborhoods where their families have lived for generations. And they're thinking, you know what? Burn it all down. The exit polls tell us the story that we refuse to see. Working class voters, many of whom were once the backbone of what used to be the Democratic Party, overwhelmingly backed Trump. Even black men turned out for Trump. He also captured the majority of Hispanic male voters and made significant gains with young voters. Let's make something clear. These aren't the demographics of a fringe movement. They're the demographics of people who feel the system has failed them. People who look at their paychecks disappearing to inflation, while Hollywood elites who have more money than sense lecture them about democratic norms and institutional integrity. And when Trump talks about shutting down the border, about bringing jobs back, about making America great again, his supporters aren't hearing the dog whistles, and they're not even buying many of the conspiracy theories either. They're hearing someone acknowledge their reality, that their communities have been transformed by policies made by people who don't live there, that their concerns about immigration have been dismissed as xenophobia rather than economic anxiety, that every institution meant to protect them seems more interested in protecting itself. To them, burning it all down isn't radical, it's rational. And just in case you're tempted to dismiss this as crazy, let me tell you why it makes perfect sense. The Democratic campaign has been the political equivalent of bringing a strongly worded letter to a knife fight. While Trump was out there promising to tear down a system people hate, Democrats responded by saying what exactly? Seriously, I want you to try something. Close your eyes and tell me one concrete policy Harris promised that would materially change someone's life. Just one. Now, it's possible that you can, because you're one of the people that are plugged into politics, but I'll tell you what, the average American can't think of any. All they've heard is vague, wishy-washy, let's hold hands and sing rainbows and fight the orange circus. The entire Democratic campaign was predicated on, I'm not that guy. And that isn't nearly good enough. In fact, it's rather arrogant when you think about it. It's thinking that simply not being Trump is enough of a qualification to run for the most powerful nation on earth. It's believing that people will choose stability over chaos when the stability you're offering hasn't worked for them for decades. It's assuming that voters will prioritize defending democratic institutions when they feel as though those same institutions abandoned them years ago. So, I think I get it now. When I voted for Brexit, it wasn't because I hated the EU or because I believed all the propaganda about straight bananas. I voted because someone finally offered me a chance to throw a fucking wrench into the system I felt was ignoring me. I was tired of being called racist for voicing concern about no longer being able to afford rent in my hometown because of economic instability and indeed migration. And that is exactly, I think, what's happened here with Trump. Put bluntly, the deplorables defeated the insufferables. I lost, and most likely, you lost. Hell, if you're a Trump voter, you may also have lost, because even though you technically won, it's possible that you never wanted to vote for Trump. You just didn't want the same old shit. Going forward, then, I'm gonna change my tune. I'm going to try and listen more to the opposite side. But as for the conservative content creators that riled up the fears and anxieties...
And this was all laid out in Project 2025, like you said.
I'm done playing nice. It doesn't work. I'm going to play them at their own game, and I'm going to do my damn best to win. But I ain't going to be able to do it alone. And this is something that we really need to talk about. Something that's been eating at me. Look at YouTube. Look at social media. The right is winning the information war.
Up yours, woke moralists.
We'll see who cancels who.
And they're largely winning because they have serious money behind them. Dennis Prager, Russell Brand, Tim Pool, all of those tools at the Daily Wire, Candace Owens, all of them. They have massive money behind them, allowing them to pump out 3 to 10 pieces of shit every day. And well-edited shit. The Daily Wire launched because billionaire petroleum industry brothers Dan and Faris Wilks chucked them millions of dollars, allowing them to rent out an entire property like the office I'm in now, but much bigger, allowing them to run the tests that they needed to do, get people doing this job, doing research, going over here and trying editing, getting people on board. They were able to do it because they received that money. Elon Musk, the richest man alive, is heavily contributing to right-wing sources and controlling social media to uplift the conservative agenda.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that.
Crap tons of Russian money is flowing right into the pockets of right-wing commentators. Meanwhile, progressive voices are trying to fight this billion-dollar machine with YouTube ad revenue and the odd sponsor. We can't even use the fucking word Nazi because, unlike those fuckers, a video getting demonetized means we're fucked. We're not playing by the same rules here, and we need to be. And I do mean we. So let me tell you what your favorite left-leaning content creators won't, because they're too proud. We need your help. Real help. Financial help. Because behind the smiles and calm presence is a chronically overworked person who desperately could do with offshoring just a bit of their editing, marketing, and research to someone. Brilliant voices like Holy Kool-Aid, David Pakman, Secular Talk, Paula Gia, The Antibot, Alex O'Connor, Beau of the Fifth Column. If they're not producing hourly content, I promise you that as activists they want to be. All of them fighting the same uphill battle. We're passionate, we're dedicated, and we're getting our asses kicked because we don't have the infrastructure to compete. So I'm asking you, no, I'm begging you, support progressive content creators. Any of us, all of us, me alone. I know that I could be pumping out daily videos debunking Ben Shapiro's latest bullshit. Every time Candace Owens drops a new conspiracy theory, I could have a response ready by morning. But I can't because I don't have a team. I don't have the resources. I'm just one person who's up yet again at 3 a.m. who can occasionally afford an editor, trying to fight a corporate-backed propaganda machine. I know that many of your favorite content creators are in the same position, but they're not telling you how much they need your help. So please, help us make a difference. I promise you, we're in this because we care. It's not about the money, but we need the money to do something about this. If you can, please mention your favorite content creators in the comments. Like other people's comments who have mentioned them, and if you can, chuck them $5 or $20 a month. Getting back to Trump's triumph and victory, Trump isn't a symptom of a broken political system. He's the product of a well-oiled propaganda machine that's drowning out rational voices with the flood of misinformation. And unless we build a counterforce, unless we create our own infrastructure to fight back, and most importantly, unless we start actually listening to the concerns of many currently on the right, we're not just going to lose elections, we're going to lose the very ability to fight back. This isn't about making money, it's about survival. It's about having the resources to fight for the truth in a world that's increasingly hostile to it. And if we don't act now, we might not get another chance. So, I think I finally know why Trump is going to be the president of the United States again. I'm frankly embarrassed that I couldn't figure that out beforehand. And I think, like a lot of you, I'm ready to fucking fight them.